her energy to the energy of this grandmother.
Oh,
So I think it's a bio mom or bio.
my bio. Okay, so we never met.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I
Oh, okay.
feel yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah, we never
Sorry
met,
for jumping in on
but
that.
yeah, so she my bio grandmother
Hmm.
was, yeah, I can feel her all the time. Like I close
Hmm.
my eyes, I see pictures of her. And my uncle, my mom's my biological uncle, I had a love of flying from I just love the sound of planes. There's something, and I found out that my uncle built a plane. And there's a picture that I have of my
Hmm.
grandmother in that plane. And but she also was a very
I
spiritual
was going to
person.
say, she's telling me that your history is not with your adoptive, your history is with your bio.
I think we're
Oh.
fine.
And she's explaining that you come from a long generation of believing in the spiritualness or into.
I think we're fine. I think it's just that we have to connect over to the speaker from the headphone area.
So is he coming?
Oh no, who's coming?
Oh, I thought you had been.
No, I was trying to call and see if you can hear. I'm pretty sure we're fine. That's why they wear headsets when they do it, because it swaps over. Anyway, go ahead.
So I probably should bring headphones.
No,
I
sorry.
think.
No, you guys keep talking.
That's
I'm
about
go,
as
I'm gonna go
technical
out
as I'm gonna be.
I'm gonna go out. And,
Are we
just,
on?
Yeah.
Oh,
just
we're on.
keep,
Hi,
just
everybody.
keep talking.
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
Sorry for being rude. I'm Jennifer Laflin, medium psychic.
I'm Sue, Aronow-Wegmann.
Okay. We're just kind of hanging out. Sorry, we were just talking about the differences between the adoptive system and the bio system of a family. And regardless if the bio family never sees the child or their ancestry, what they call them, the ancestry, um, after they've been given up for adoption or not, there is quite a bond that goes on. So I was just explaining to Sue that her grandmother on the bio side, and I apologize for using that, but it's their term that they use, that this is what they want to communicate with. So, so they're just explaining, we were just talking about part of her history and part of what they're explaining what her grandmother who has passed, right,
Yes.
is explaining to me about the connection and the similarities and the generations. Normally, I try to stay with a person's this is you in your general environment or history, not going back into the generations because it's not proven. But this one is proven. This one's she said there is a proven thing. She said you come from a your heart beats as the drum is what she calls it, and she said there's a lot of openings when you do the drumming. There's a lot of time travel, levels of travel that come through also. She is explaining that the sadness of you leaving or departing from the family, and not having that connection of understanding of not where you came from, but where you came from.
Right.
So in the history of things, she also believes that whenever a person is adopted, that they should be given generations, the great grandparents,
Yes.
information, to, not just medical history and what they look like, but who they were, personalities, and all of this. And so she relates to you very fondly because in one of your travels, soul travels is what she's calling it, that you had reached upon her or you had requested her to come forward because you asked one of your guides to come forward and to be. So she came because she considers herself as a guide. She always believed in protection. She doesn't give me much about her personality, but her belief system in the soul. So she has a lot of history in the background of herself. She believes that because one person cannot cope with this person, that adoption might be the great thing, and it might be the great thing. However, she feels as though something was removed from her. So not just from bodily, but from the soul. She feels like part of her things have gone. So, you know, if this is the way she can be part of your soul journey, then that's the way she wants to be as part of your soul journey. She keeps talking about jade, or the color jade, or the color jade. Oh, and didn't even make the correlation to
That's good stuff on
it.
your
But
colors.
she's very connected to the earth herself. Not always was her journey straight, and she loved the way that you brought up change, or the conversation about change. She really, at that time, she came in and wanted to have a discussion. That's why I didn't respond to you, because I was like, but her thing is change is very growth. There's a lot of respect for change, because when you have no change, there is no respect for what's coming forward, and there's a denial of the past. And so people live in that moment of regurgitating what they say, what they do. You know, the storyline, we all do it. A situation happened and I go, oh no, I've got to, this is what I actually said, and it really isn't. So there she's talking about the familiarity of all of that, and that you've never been one for non-change. You always required the change to be a part of it. So I think it's interesting that we were talking about change, and she perked up. She goes, here I am. But she's very excited about it, very, very excited about the drumming and the low registers of sound for you also, that comes into that resonates for you. But you've done a lot in your life anyway. You've been through a lot. The impounding, or your steps weren't always very gentle to walk on. You always had very hard steps that you were like, this is who I am, and this is what I'm supposed to be, and this is, and you walked with purpose to own the steps that you walked in, because people have taken those steps away from you many, many times. And but she's, again, she's just here, just thrilled to be here. She's just very excited. But she brings in others that are from your bio past, and so that, and they all know you, but they want you to get to know them on their decisions of what they're doing and how they're doing it, the balance. So she's just, I don't know, she's a very different individual, but spiritually, she's a very spiritual lady.
Yeah. I heard she wrote a little book on I can't think of the name of the spirit, Eckankar. It's a they use the sound hue.
Oh,
I don't know if you know that at all, but it's pretty intense when you hear hundreds of people saying hue, and it's all different tones, and they do it, and within that hue, you can tune into what you need to hear, and to tune into your guides, I guess, is what that's about.
So why don't you do a group like that?
I do. I have a group where I do pranic healing and do prayers. Just it's called Twin Hearts, and I don't run it. I'm part of the group. I've been doing that for about 10 years, pranic healing. And so what we do is we bless the planet with the prayer from St. Francis of Assisi, where there's darkness, let there be light. That one. And then we do the great invocation at the end by Alice Bailey. And so,
nice.
Yeah, so it's really powerful to do service, to bless the planet, and then get healing at the same time. So it's a win-win.
So can you describe, for those who aren't familiar with pranic healing, can you give them a gist of what it is all about?
Sure. Pranic healing was started by my master Chokok Sui, who is a Filipino Chinese man who was a business entrepreneur. I don't know the quite word, but he was a businessman, and made a lot of money, and he put that money towards enriching humanity, basically. And he came up with a system, protocols similar to Reiki, but with protocols and how to cleanse the chakras if a person has a certain ailment. And you could basically use it like a recipe book. And the first thing that I was able to, with a advanced healing, you use color. With basic, you use just a white light. And the advanced, I had this amazing experience. I was a CNA med tech, and our unit secretary had vertigo, and I just got through with my advanced healing book class, and I had the book in my car, and I ran down, got it, looked to see if there was a protocol for vertigo, ran back up, wheeled her into the med room, just open it up, have the running water, someplace to throw the energy. And that's what it's kind of all about. It gives you a place to put the energy. It's like a safe place. You either use a salt bowl, or you can use running water. Or if windows open, you flick it towards this ocean, or anything like that. So anyway, I was able to go through the protocol, and she was able to stand up, walk out of that med room, and didn't take her meds, her vertical meds, for 3 months. Didn't need them. And it just sold me on it. And I was like, I love pranic healing. I'm going to dedicate myself to pranic healing for.
So when you say throw it into the water, how do you hold it?
Yeah. So it's interesting is that you learn how to, you sensitize your hands to be able to feel energy. And so there's a swirling that you do to grab the energy, and then you flick it. There's a flicking. And in that flicking, and there's a lot of
you expel
you're using your minds, like you're saying, I'm flicking this into there. That as well works, but when you do it, it's almost like riding a bike. After a while, you don't think that anymore. You're just flicking. But yeah. So and then with pranic healing, they have different meditations. He's passed, he's ascended, and he has about, I don't know how many masters that are living on the planet right now that are still teaching worldwide. So it's a worldwide.
So I kind of missed this because I was busy. Was he coming through your reading here, or is it?
We were talking about her grandmother, her bio grandmother,
and then she asked me about pranic healing. So
she had mentioned pranic healer, but nobody really knows any. I mean, there are people that know about pranic healing, but it's a very intense practice, but it's a very clearing practice, and it realigns a lot of things in the system. And it allows you, as the person who's receiving it, to readjust yourself also, because when you release things when you release the things that are not helping you, then you end up filling it with that does. So not only is the pranic healing removing, but it's also
replacing.
Yeah,
with good.
And that's and the things that you remove, you send with love. You can't send it with anger, because then you're sending anger back into that person too. So it's like love, and then you remove it. But it works. It's pranic healing's amazing.
So where it goes to the water or the woods, where it gets back into Gaia, and she cleanses or gets that love, and
if that's what
verses, is that how it works?
Is that how you, if that's how you want to direct it, it's you're the healing practitioner. So you can, before I came across pranic healing, I did my own little thing where I don't know, I kind of just made up this little healing system, and then I would just transmute the energy into butterflies and imagine them flying out the window and going where they needed to go. Energetic, energy never dies, but it just breaks apart. So they like to use a word called disintegrate, where if you take it, disintegrate doesn't, like, you're not obliterating there. I kind of think of the word. It dissipates. It turns into something else. So it
evolves into something.
Right. You give it a chance to be reabsorbed into, and then take on a new form. That it's more positive.
It's the clearing of the negative.
My son watches anime and they deal with a lot.
Really?
Yes, it's so funny. Yeah.
I think it's very interesting when a healer comes upon the ability to heal somebody, they'll do it in a minute. But when it becomes that they require the healing, they're more like, I got this. I'm all set. I'm ready. I'm done. I can do this. And it's amazing how much we absorb the negativity so
And
that
you don't
there's
realize
healing.
it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that there is healing. And so we carry it along and then we say, I just feel so mucky, and then it becomes that there is a spirit that will come, for me anyway. There's been a spirit that has come, that has cleared, but they're few and far between because they said you really need to do this.
Well, that's why I was asking
really
you
need to do
earlier,
this.
do you need a time to?
No, I mean, I'm fine. I just, when you get into the human aspect of doing a reading, you know that this person's life is coming with a lot of questions and a lot of sometimes injury to them that they don't understand that they have.
Or don't realize they even have.
Yeah, and so when they come and you talk about openly, you don't have to say, well, tell me your issues. You just tell them what's going on, and it releases their ability to relax into that and say, yes, that did happen. Not like I have to tell you what happened to me and then replay it in their mind. They'll kick back and they'll say, yeah, it did happen to me. So
Well, I think like sometimes if you go to a therapist or something, you're guarded, that there's a stigma, or you just don't want to say it because you're afraid. But when it's someone like you, it's more relaxing and it's like, okay, she knows what to do with me. She knows my spirit is actually saying, hey, you need this. So it's a little bit different than therapist.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, tell me your worries.
Yeah. And it's kind of comical because when you open up their can of worms in a way, and I certainly am not a therapist and I don't claim to be, but when you open up and say, this is what it is, oh, and this is what it is, it's almost like a buffet of stuff. This is potatoes, this is peas, and this is, and you go, oh, this is what it is. And you don't put a lot of emotion, like, can you tell me about that? And I'm not making fun of therapists, but everybody does that. They watch the car accident they slow the cars down to watch the accident happen.
Right.
And I'm just like, nope, here's this, here's this, here's this. And then I'll go back and I'll say, do you realize how strong you are from coming out of something like that? Like with your life, you've gone, oh, this is just what I do. Yeah, this is who I am. But you've been through a lot in your life. There's been a lot of deep canyons that you've dug yourself out of by yourself without asking any help. And it has caused you a lot of not distrust. You're like, I'm just too tired to go back into that or into a relationship or a friendship or owning a house or an apartment. You just, you want to like break free from that. And yet there is a requirement that your physical self says you need to go through. And you're like, no, I'm burnt out from that. It's not like you're afraid to do it. Well, for you,
I'm done with that. I'm done.
You're not afraid of it. You're just like, you know what? I'm just burnt out. You can't burn out that candle anymore. And so there's been a lot of judgment being passed on to you at a time of like, she prefer to be alone, or she prefer to do this, or she prefers to do that. And sometimes because you're an energy worker, it hits you deep within the soul. And you try to move that aside because it's not yours to own. And you do this quite magically, by the way. But you just kind of do it and you go, yep, this is not my own. But I really want, this is what I really want, but they're not understanding it. So now you have to explain yourself. Then you turn around, you go, this is just, I'm digging myself a hole. And then you realize the pattern you're in. And, I was saying this to clients yesterday. I said, people are complaining about, the cost of the eggs. Oh my gosh, the eggs are like cake toss.
Oh, not only that, the birds themselves, when you go to buy them now, are phenomenal. Like some of them are $30 for just
but that's
one
a special.
Like, are you kidding
me? Yeah, you can buy eggs. Chickens everywhere. So anyway, I said
you can't.
Yeah, you can because I did.
Really? Well, because right at Tractor Supplies, like I said, they were sold out in hours.
Yeah, they
Oh,
are.
yeah.
But you can buy them a little bit later, like down the road.
Yeah.
They always over. But I was telling my Sue, you're complaining about the eggs, so buy the chicken.
Right, that's what I said.
Why? I'm not.
But
gonna
it takes 6 months for you to actually start getting eggs.
Well, but that's different.
But you got
I
to
mean,
start somewhere.
But you can buy a chicken that is already laying eggs. You can do that. But instead of sitting in the same location and complaining about the same thing, you're going to get burnt out. Every time you look at that egg display, you're going to go, ugh. But that's okay. Then stop doing that. What's keeping
Find
you into
other
that
solutions.
motif,
It's about finding
Yeah.
other solutions.
I said two things: buy a chicken, or make a friend that has chickens.
Or find someone who has chickens and just get the rooster.
So I was like, so my thing is like, there's a lot, like for you, there's been a lot of transformation and a lot of, you've moved among different types of personalities or peoples or groups of personalities.
Oh yeah.
And there
I
are
do.
times that you have an expectation of going to, this is your grandmother, by the way, she's just telling me, you have an expectation when you go to this like, I don't know, weekend retreat or whatever it is, and you go there and you have this great expectation that it turns into like a pit. You look at it and you go, what? Like what? This is not, and it lets you down quite a bit. So then that makes you a little hesitant about doing it because
she's right.
Yeah.
That's Grandma Irene, by the way.
Oh, is it?
if that's my grandma, yes, I can see her face.
So,
Yeah.
but she said that in order for you to, because you're still accomplishing and you're still altering your life form, and you're transitioning, you're into a transition period right now. And she said, in order for you to have that or be receptive and not own it kind of situation.
Yeah.
She said it's you have to do this and you have to move forward, but you feel like you're being pushed through the door, something. I just feel pushed through the door now.
Yeah.
So yes, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I gave up gambling. My adopted mom, Sima, and I would I'd take her gambling all the time when I went back to take care after my dad passed. And I didn't live with her. I lived close to her, and then I moved in when I had to. But we'd go to the casinos all the time, and I ended up getting hooked to it. The adrenaline, and I was very lucky, and I'd win, I'd walk away. But then somewhere down the road, I felt guilty after my mom passed because of all she left me money, and I gambled most of it away because it was her money.
Oh, okay.
It was her thing. It was like, how's my, like, I go visit her, she's like, how's my money? I'd be like, I'm like, your money's fine, Mom, get better. So then she passed. But yeah, so it's taken me a while to get over that of that situation, because I also felt like it's a way for me to hermit. And I've decided for Lent that's it. I'm giving it up to you, and I'm not going back, and I've done this quite a few times, and every time I go for healing for it, it's on a little bit different level, a little bit different there, a little bit here, so finally I feel like I loosened up everything enough with that addictive behavior or whatever it is I was trying to escape from. It was an escape, and it's like going out and having fun 2 nights in a row is something I would never do. I'm like, no, I gotta sit home and meditate, and I gotta, do all these, and pull back. And I didn't feel like pulling back this weekend. I was like, no, I feel there's a shift going on in me. I don't feel like pulling back. And I think that,
well, sometimes it fills your soul too. It's
Yeah.
a different kind of fulfillment.
Yeah. And I wasn't getting it because I was just shutting off. I was like, oh, I don't belong there. I don't want to go and do all that. I don't want to be around too many people, or, that kind of a thing, where I definitely love the noodle bar. Only because the atmosphere is different. There's a
lighter.
It's a family atmosphere. it feels good to me to be there.
So the noodle bar is located
In Portland, Maine.
in Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they do karaoke there. She runs the karaoke there, and it's just
We
love
just
it.
have fun. So.
Yeah,
And
it's really
that's
good.
what I think. I feel that that's where my place is right now, is to bring light to people, just enjoyment and fun, and let
Yeah.
loose of your work. Because when you are singing, it just really lightens your soul. It's just like it's
yeah.
really good for your soul, and then just people having a good time and not have to fear or worry about anything, and we just
Yeah.
relax.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I think that's just my little thing I'm supposed to do.
Yeah,
Right
it's
now.
great.
I think this year is the year when people are starting to realize what it is that they actually want. So they're moving things away from them that isn't serving their purpose.
Yeah.
And because they
Mm.
are preparing for next year, which is the new beginnings.
Mm.
But I think if you don't set things in a path that you like, and this year you're going to have a little difficult time, because you're going to look and you're going to say, oh, that person has that,
Right.
but you could have been at that same place if you had just taken a look at things and said, what am I doing to cause all of this, instead of saying, this person's done it, this person's done wrong by me and everything.
Right.
But we all hold responsibility into interactions, and this is the year, what you were saying, of running or not running. This is a rare year of not running anymore.
We're not
Make a
hibernating.
stand. I think it's
Or not-
making a stand
It's
for what
just-
you believe you need. Not
Right.
what anybody else is dictating or telling. What will make
What
me
feels right in your
Yeah.
heart.
right?
Yeah.
What will
Yeah.
fulfill me?
And it's not, I don't hear a lot from, I need to be happy anymore. I'm hearing from clients that are saying, I need balance in my life.
Mm.
I don't need to be, I can make myself happy by doing stupid things if I wanted to do, or fun things to do, but
Mhm.
I need balance in my life. And it's
Mhm.
not about how somebody's going to make me happy. It's how I'm not happy, if they want to admit it,
McConaughey said, you ever listen to him? He's the actor, and you ever listen to some of the things that he talks about? And the one thing that stuck with me is, your happiness can be, fleeting and stuff, but find the joy in what you like to do. Find the joy, and that will bring you what you
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
Don't
Joy's a
make it
deeper-
happy. Don't like, I'm gonna be happy about it.
Mhm.
Find the joy out of everything that you do, and then
Yes.
Everything.
flip the script. Just
Yep.
find the joy, and that's
But
kind of
if
stuck with
somebody
me.
says to you,
Yeah.
let's go do this, and you don't want to, you used to do it because
Right.
it made
Oh,
peace in the house.
I always did that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was always like, I was a great audience. I did, whatever you want to go do, I'll do it.
Mhm.
But I mean, I could still be that way. I could do that a little bit, but if I do it too much, it's like if I work too much, not good. If I work too little, not good. There's got to be like the balance. There's got to be this happy medium of that I'm taking care of myself in more than one way. As to have balance, and I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and I don't think that people understand, not all people, but I think people need to understand that the context of why they're here is to say, yes, I will, or no, I don't, without an explanation.
Mhm.
Unless it's required. If you told me no, I'd say, okay, I don't need an explanation. I just know that you don't want to do it.
Curious, you want to know,
but that's
but
why.
why?
But that's a curious thing, because then I would try to fix it so that it's something that's pleasing to you. So you'd say yes. So you'd go along with what I'm doing.
Sometimes
You're not supposed to
understanding
do that.
somebody is not such a bad thing. You just accept. The thing is accepting the no and not trying to change their mind. But
Mhm.
it's also nice to know why, because it's part of them. So I always want to understand why is
Right.
this happening. But that I don't
Yeah.
try and change their
I
mind.
watch the person and I go, I get it, because a person's action will become more outspoken by their movements versus their words.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, and it's not that I'm profiling or anything. I just go, let them be where they are, like me. Don't just let me be who I am. It doesn't matter, and we'll move on. I do know that when I tell people I'm a medium, it makes people very uncomfortable at times. So I don't. So I wait for somebody to say, well, what do you do? Then I know they're ready to hear
Right.
anything,
Right.
and if they can't accept that, then that's okay. Or they mock it, and that's okay. That's where they are in their life.
Right.
So the more that you
Again, that goes to fear, though.
it does. Yeah,
If they
the
don't want to
unknown.
know or anything like that, or just laughing at it, that's fear because one, they can't do it, and they're afraid what are you going to discover about them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that, to me, that's fear.
And a person gives me more information in the first 15 seconds of meeting them,
Mhm.
and their spirits give me more information about them like a couple of days prior to meeting the person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How do you? So you kind of
So,
know they're coming.
You know they're coming. You know things are going to happen, and you know they step in and try to listen in on the conversation or clients of other clients, and they all kind of embed themselves into it because that energy of that client's person that's coming through may be similar to the one that's
Mhm.
coming in a couple of days, and so they'll come piggybacking because it's a support system also over there. And so they kind of come in and they present themselves, and then I go, okay, so you're not supposed to be here. I don't say that. I just go, oh, I'll just leave that with you, because I'm not sure, but it feels similar to the energy of that person there. And the healing that comes to place when having a reading for souls is they have to listen to how they treated everybody. So now when they're listening into that, they are also doing their own healing, and that healing brings together the connectivity between the loved one and the person that's passed. It's a strong bond. So when you let go of all that humanistic, idea of
The
fear
ego.
and
The ego,
all
too.
that ego, then you bring in a whole different thing that you have to take a moment to understand. It's all pretty nice. If somebody doesn't care to be in that presence, then that's okay. I choose to be listening to everything that goes on. I don't choose to ignore like your grandmother. I'm not going to ignore your grandmother. She's pretty a solid individual here with others behind her, but she wants to make her statement heard because she could never make her statements to you in life.
Yeah.
And so it's important. It's very important for her to have that word to you because that's the only way she can share it. She knows the work that you do. She tries to share in that world, but her energy and your energy sometimes, some days are not, mingling together. Other days they do. And so she talks about passing information off to you as you're working with a client and you're getting visualization of things and you're getting sensations of things. And she said it's not just one energy source you're coming from, and that you have others that are like her come through.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah. And
I do that.
she talks about, I always call them the committee or the council, or I call them my peeps, your peeps, and everything else.
Right.
But anyway, they come in and they work together so well. And I say, why can't we work so well?
Right.
Why do we have to go, oh, I felt hurt because you're sitting there and I'm not, why am I so hurt by that? And it has nothing to do with that. It has really, it's an acceptance. She brings in the fact that you've always wanted a large family in a way. And she talks about you having this extended family that you have that you've struggled as to whether or not be in connection with in a long time. But she said it's not, she goes, she's always in search of family or acceptance in that role. And she said this year is the time to not have that because that blocks a lot of the energy that you're working with. And she does talk about, and I love the crystal energy. And so she works with a lot of that purity of the crystalline. And so she balances it out. She goes, sometimes you work too much in the color, and she goes, and sometimes you ever notice that your color is not as bright. So she said, pay attention to that because she tries to get a little bit of that crystal. So it's a red, but it's a little bit lighter than it's supposed to be. Like you can see through the red.
Okay.
You know, some stones you can see through, you can't
Yeah.
see through. She tries to make that and replace it with something that's a little bit so you can see with it, but still work with it.
Oh.
So the crystal enhances that color red more so. Yeah. More so.
All right, what was that?
Sorry.
Somebody's over your shoulder?
How are you doing? You okay?
Someone was there?
Yeah.
She picked up on it.
Yeah. You're okay.
Yeah,
She just wants to make sure you're okay. Okay. So anyway, so there's a lot of energy connections that there's it's almost like this, and now all of a sudden they're all going to be connecting like that.
Mhm.
So it's all these different sources and resources for you on the other side, because you are releasing. And she said, I just want that part that you're coming from that ancestry, from the bio ancestry.
Okay.
And healing doesn't have to, you don't have to be in search of things.
Mm-hmm.
What you're in search of is not so much that familiar or family connection. It's about the energy connection is what you're missing too. Because even if you had all your family, she goes, she would always be out there searching. Always be out there searching. Is this, so she says, is coming into that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot coming in for you. But again, and you've been a good mother, she said. And she says, even though you feel as though, you have, she goes, you mother all that you work with. And she goes, and she comes from here. She doesn't come from there. Do you understand that? And she comes into the thing, and she goes, she brings in to create this protection for the persons that she's with. She goes, she's been a good mother to many. And she says, so don't think about it. She's flicking things off your shoulders. Don't think about anything. She says, and you're doing an amazing job. She goes, the healing is this year healing. It's not last year healing. It's this year healing.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and you'll be going to other groups or meetings or something like that, so that you can enhance your knowledge of other things. And you already have the knowledge. It's just a remembrance of that knowledge. She says she kind of laughs at the way you dance. I'm not sure why. I've never seen you dance. It's the first time I've ever seen you. But she's kind of like laughing. She's rolling her eyes, and she goes, you get her your rolling of the eyes from her, by the way. So there's a lot that you have in common with her, even though you've never really met her. But she says there's a lot of commonality between the two of you. She goes, you do have a raging, sometimes anger, sometimes that pops up. It just kind of crops up and it comes back in, and it's like you're trying to grab the lion to go back into the cage again. But she says that's when you become protective of somebody. That's that.
It can be political.
That's
That's usually where it comes in. Now, but personal life, I used to, when I was married, it was, I'd be yelling all the time. I would be yelling at my husband all the time, and so, yeah, that wasn't fun. But I loved him. I still love him.
Yeah.
He was he was the perfect mirror for me. I didn't run when I got uncomfortable, because we had our daughter, and it was like she was my anchor. She's always been my anchor. Like, I will not stay too far. I wanted to move back to California, and she knew. She was at work, and she said, I think my mom's going to tell me she wants to move back to California.
Yeah.
And so she came and told me, Mel, no, don't move to California. I don't want you to move to California. Stay here. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll stay here. But I never see you. She goes, yeah, but then you'll never see me.
Well, that's true.
The door's all open.
Yeah. She had an interesting experience with the spirit board and her friends, where I had a few pictures when I went to go meet my biological mom and my uncle, and I got pictures of my grandma Irene and some other past, like my great grandmother and father on one side and the other, and so it was really cool to see all that, to be able to give to my daughter. And one of the aunts came through for her as Maple, but her name is Mabel. But it was like,
Nice.
yeah, so I felt like, oh yeah, I have a picture. She's like, do you know a Mabel or Maple? I'm like, I think I actually have a picture with that little post-it on it. And I pulled it up and there it was. And so it
Wow.
was really cool for her
Very
to feel
nice.
like that connection, and but my biological mom, I was like I was a mini her. Like if you look at pictures of the two of us, we like I look just like her. Where my half sister, Tamara, she has a whole family. She's got 5 kids. Three of them are hers. Two of them are the man she married. And we met and we like bonded. Like we're so different, but we're more alike now than when we met. It's
Mhm.
really interesting. It's
Good.
like we just
Meshed.
yeah. It's
Mhm.
like
Big
we were
family.
up all night for like 2 weeks straight talking on the phone, and then finally we met.
Really, that's a
Yeah,
good thing, though.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I love it.
because you pick up how they are, and then when you visually see them, then it's a different thought process. You know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, my sister is amazing. I just feel like she's transformed herself throughout her life in big ways. So
It's nice. It's nice to hear.
yeah,
The connection is there,
yeah,
for you and your family,
yeah.
however that is.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I belong to my best friend's family. They had
Mhm,
6 kids, and I always felt most comfortable there around a
mhm,
big family. I just loved it.
mhm.
And like when we would have Thanksgiving when I was married, and everybody would be there, I was it's like so happy. It was just like so you're right on it. I mean, Grandma's right on
Well,
with that.
and I think too that in whatever you decided to do in your life, you put your 100% into it,
Mm.
and sometimes the squirrels would come out and
Mhm.
move you off to the side over here, but it was very typical of you to to be more of the performer
Mm.
than to be the sportsman kind of a thing.
Mhm.
And so it surprises me that you're not, that you're not pursuing that kind of.
Oh yeah, I know.
It just
I
surprises
I
me.
know. I play the guitar and I sing and I write music and everything, and it's like I'm okay. It's like I'm not a Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's fun. I enjoy it, but it's more. Sometimes I feel like, well, I have all these things. Should I record them? What should I do with it? And then I'm like, I don't know. I'm too it. I. It's like I'm either gonna. It takes up. That's life consuming to do that. I mean, look at how much energy you have to put into being a singer or an actress, or that is like that one thing. For me, it's just a part of me, and I don't want to dedicate my whole self to that.
So she's telling me you've written songs for your daughter,
I have,
and
yeah.
why aren't you putting them and recording them and then compiling them in Christmas present?
I don't know.
I just
Yeah.
She's just made that suggestion.
Okay.
That's the greatest gift because you have the voice. You're giving your daughter your voice. You're giving your daughter your emotions, your words, and everything is compiled in one area where she's not going, where was that Christmas card she sent me the other day?
Right.
Or
Right. Right.
or where's my birthday card? None of that. And it's so there's a repetitiveness about it. And it can be recorded too, and you can put some of those on there and do it in a joking kind of the way you are. Put your spin. But she's telling me that you're putting together one of those anyway.
Oh,
Good luck with
yeah.
that.
All right.
Should be interesting.
I mean, I record many of my. I have many recordings of me playing. Many.
Does
I
your
just
daughter?
no. I don't feel like she's that. My daughter's now playing in a band, and I've asked if they would want to listen to any of my music or anything
But
like
this
that.
is just
But
for her.
yeah, and she's like, no.
I would just compile it and put it
Okay.
together because
Okay, and just give it to her.
just
Okay.
here's the thing, and
Okay.
then she can go back and sing one of your songs later,
Okay.
if anything.
And she
Okay.
may put her spin on it. Like
Yeah.
take what you've put together and just
Okay.
add beautiful music or some little
All
You know
right.
what I mean?
Okay.
It'll give a little idea.
Yeah, she's just saying that at a
Okay.
time when she needs a Band-Aid after you're gone, or she needs a picture of when you're gone. And she said, I wish that I could have given you that.
Okay.
See where I'm not saying that you're dying today, tomorrow, the next day.
I don't care when I die, actually.
But she's saying, why don't you pull some together that has
Okay, I will.
how you feel, and so your daughter gets all of that, and she doesn't have to hear it today, tomorrow,
Okay.
but when she needs it,
Okay.
she's gonna get you.
Okay.
So that's kind of, don't make them all sappy, she said. Okay.
What if you
They're
dance
not
out?
all sappy. They're not all sappy. They are a lot. All of them are, about love and loving people,
Right.
and friends. But
Well, she's just saying this is something that you can pass on, because she wished that she could pass something on to you
okay.
other
Thank
than
you.
a picture.
Yeah, I looked for her book. I couldn't find it. Like grandma's book
Oh,
on.
is it on Audible or?
No,
Was it distributed?
I just looked to see if it was out there, but I never
She could have
found
had a
it.
different name and under a different
I
name.
know. It was a Knizia, not a Knizia. It was a Eckengar book on Eckengar.
How do you spell it?
Eckengar, E-K. I have trouble with
Okay.
E-C-K-A-N-K-A, Eckengar. Maybe a G.
Maybe a G. Where would we put
Eckengar.
it? This is not a Vanna White
Well,
moment.
now we have it on. Now we have it on video. We can go back and search for it.
Yeah. But I find that in order to come into the new year, that we are requiring our connections with family.
Okay.
And then we go moving. And family can consist of a lot of friends together, or it can consist of family.
Mm.
It's what core brings you forward to the next round. So the new year is going to be doing that.
Well, Allison from last week's video,
Okay.
she got introduced to her, and now it seems like we're all kind of clicking. And Brian last night was like, I said, well, the universe kind of just put us all together. There's a reason why, because our energies are similar, the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going, now there's three. So he goes, yeah. He was liking it, right? So
Yeah.
it was interesting, because I'm like, just when you see how people come together,
Mm-hmm.
and it was so effortlessly done.
Yeah.
And we just kind of just all clicked. So
yeah, we did. Definitely.
And that's interesting, because that's the way it should be. There should be no, and you can be friends, for a moment, and then not, and then come back later. And there's no, why did you leave? Kind of or
right.
Yeah, because it's weaving in and out.
Yeah.
The energies kind of.
I've always had friends where I cannot see them for years, and it's like we just pick up where we left off. It's just,
yeah.
So.
And it causes they help us heal internally, in our way of thinking. They give us another option. You're pulling in energy, by the way.
I know.
Can you feel it? Okay.
Yeah, I just was like, whoa.
I know.
Well, I got it here. Every time I come in here, I get it. Like something's always at me. You need to tell me about the angel the last time, though. There was an strong angel that came in.
Well, yeah, and again, I'm grateful you guys aren't running out of the room on that one. But things like that do occur quite frequently, and it's I can feel it as a wisp, but another person feels it as like a
whoosh.
More of that. And when spirits or angels or guides or masters, or when they come to connect with you, they come to connect as a gentle thing. But because we're in a heavy body, it feels almost lightheadedness for us.
That's what I have right now.
Yeah.
Every time I come here, I get that way, and sometimes it's really powerful.
And so when we don't try to identify it, we go, oh, this is energy that's coming in from my highest to my best. Then we take a look at it and say, I'm accepting of this. A lot of us, I don't I don't say bring on the negative energy, although I do work in negative energy because I am light and dark. My human self is light and dark. My spiritual self is light and dark. There's a balance to that. But when when they're trying to communicate with us, we don't have a lot of time to adapt to their energy because it comes and it goes. And so when we feel a little on the lightheadedness, it's they're revving our energy up. And then when we come back into our ego or our reality, we feel heavy and dense, and that becomes that moment of that. So there's a balance
I
of that.
sometimes feel in the
The heart
chest
rates.
too.
Yeah, they it's an alter of the system because they don't have the human body, even though they've been human. Some of them have been human. They have a tendency of going, oh, I want to give you a hug, kind of a thing, and then they whoosh right through you, and you go, holy moly, and so you have no time to adapt to any of that, and so you're under a shock system, and then you're sitting there with remnants or what you think is remnants. So it takes you the whole day to bypass or to get through that in a way, to understand what just happened. But we don't. You just allow them to come in and you allow them. So eventually it doesn't bother you. It's like for me, they just come and go, and I can feel it because I can feel the physicality of her body adjusting to that period, that motion, or she doesn't have to do a motion. I just feel that adjustment of your body. And so by recognizing that, she allows it to come through because somebody else felt it. So it's, they come and go. And so she disperses energy and then she brings it back in. And when she brings it back in, she brings in other energies into her. And it's for her own highest best. Because if she sends out positive energy, a lot of the negative can't sit on that positive energy. And so what they do is they come in and they might land on it, and then they go away, like kind of, and then she brings in nothing but the positive. So
I mean, sometimes I think that there's a meditation or a practice of having a bubble around yourself, and you tell those that need healing just to come to the outside edge of my aura for healing, and so they don't come in, they just get a little hug and get a little healing, that type of a thing, which I think is a really cool way to. But you have to put that out there. It has to be a practice.
Well, I noticed that you had done that initially when you first sat down, or you stood there and you went, oof, because you were evaluating the area and the people and everything, and then you came and sat down, and then I could feel the tightness of that, and then I was like, I should give her about 15 minutes, and she'll just kind of go, and she did. She was just like, all right, I'm just going to let it go. Which, again, I mean, I think it's amazing when we can work with energy to the degree that we do. I don't know if you work with blue flame or okay.
Yeah.
So the flame changes because they showed me blue flame on my hand here, and so your clarity on that is going to be stronger.
So when you say blue flame, that's just showing the energy of the air, because I don't know if any
it's part of the pranic healing.
It is a pranic healing. Yeah. So blue is it's okay to talk about, like you don't need a special training for it, because Master Coat, one of the masters that does, he's got a Facebook thing where it's called Anchor the Light, and he will take a proverb and then just do a healing, talk about it, and then do a healing or meditation. But he also has this thing where he use blue paint to freeze. Like it's a screen technique where you think of what you want to release, whether it's something congested, something that you don't want in your life anymore, you want to change. You put it on a screen, you imagine it there, and then you put blue paint on it, and then you crumple it up and you throw it into a fire. It could be he likes to use a violet fire for it to throw in any congested energy. I just say congested
fire,
just
fire
like
that's roaring.
You create energy. You create a fire with energy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a violet fire. And then when you're done, you you get rid of it.
Mhm.
But you disintegrate it after. You don't leave it burning.
Well, because I like to like put when the equinox or something, like write down, you know, depositors and put it in the fire.
Oh yes, and that's
Physical.
something else to do. Yes,
Yeah.
that's great too. Also perfect. You know, there's so many little things that you could, so many tools out there that do the similar things.
Mhm.
You know, it's just what you choose to use. You know, it's like what color you're going to paint with. You know, what medium you're going to use to express yourself. You know, so
And you know, the fire. When I'm working with the flames, I use the violet, I use the gold, and the white. And so the gold is the healing, and the blue flame is, I mean, the violet flame is for me is more of the spiritual callings for that, and the top of it is the clarity part of it, which is the sending or almost like shining a flashlight for the energy that I remove and put here. Put it in that fire and it goes up. So you've got your healing, and then you have your yellow. I mean, you have your calling in and goes up in there, and you like they've got it. You know, the universe has it. And the blue flame for me is more of a it's time to get to work. That to me, it just is almost like because when I start, it's like okay, so she's got to start getting to work. Like like there's a get to work kind of a thing.
Right.
So
Get to work.
so let's see how she does on that get to work part. But it is, but there you know you can offer change to yourself, but not in a way that it hinders your growth. I think change is a hard term for people to use, but I think when you have movement,
Well, I think sometimes it's
more
a catalyst too, like this.
Yeah.
Like one of us could be your movement for change, like, or both, or you know, something like that. You know, sometimes there's a, yeah. I just think it's like a pinball game, and it's like, oh, you're gonna go this. Well, wait, you gone too far. Ping, you got too far. Get back, get back. You know?
there's a lot. There's
like
a
that
lot of
analogy.
putting ourselves in a place where we think we belong, but it's okay to look in another direction.
Yeah.
Because if you're comfortable right there, it's okay to sit for a minute, but not to dwell in that. We're not supposed to stay in one location at all times. And I don't mean yes, can I live in the same house every single day? Absolutely, but as long as I know that where I'm living has growth in it. If it doesn't have growth, then
You ever watch the movie What Dreams May Come?
What Dreams?
With Robin Williams?
Oh no!
Oh, that's a really good one. You know, they're in love, and then there was a lot of tragedy that happened. The kids died, and he died, and she went into a serious depression. Then she committed suicide. She goes to hell, but he goes to heaven. And he's like, "Wait, she's my other heart. I need to go get her out of there." Like, well, once you get there, you only have so many seconds, and then you'll be lost in her misery. So he had to be the catalyst to get her, pull her out of her, and then they ended up in heaven together. So he pulled her.
Yeah, that was a scary movie for me.
Well,
it was scary. It was scary.
But I was thinking of the beauty of it all, that true love, you know.
That was beautiful. But getting to the very end part was scary.
Yeah. Well, because they had to go through the several rings of hell.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, Dante's ring. That's probably what they go off of.
Right.
You know, that is kind of scary.
I guess I've never seen the movie.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, you know, Dante's firm, the rings of hell. So they had to go through a lot to get to where she was at.
I don't know about all that.
I don't either.
Yeah, no, I'm more like a Swedenborgian, where heaven is just different layers of energy and you go to where your vibration, you feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable with murders and thieves, okay.
No. No, heaven was different. They showed the contrast.
Right.
He was in heaven where he got to make his own path and do whatever he wanted. People come in and go on it.
Right.
No, it was different than going to hell.
Right.
Hell was really.
I don't know about the concept of heaven and hell because I really haven't had anybody describe hell
Right.
that has crossed over. For me, if we're in a place of great, we cause people great pain, and we're, we've done bad stuff. We go into that lower vibration, which is a lot of people, go to that low vibration if they've caused harm to another individual or to mass amount of people. So you have that vibration. If my vibration is here, then that's where I will start. I don't start at the lower edge. And then
Exactly.
I know clients have asked me, well, am I going to meet up with that person when I die? The person who's caused me great pain? And I said, only if you choose to go there. But because your vibrational setting may be higher than theirs, it may be difficult for you to reach that person and stay in that. And it'd be harder for them to come up into that vibration that you are. So it will almost be like deep diving. You can only stay there for a short amount of time. So then you come down into that. But your vibrational setting as well as theirs will, if everybody chooses to learn from everything that they've done, and you're not being judged by other people or other souls, you're being judged by self, which is pretty bad, because here, we can do anything we want to do and we're not arrested, right? But down there, we're in truth to ourselves, which is pretty hard. So we go into this vibrational setting and we start moving through not so much of the density of human, but we go into the clarity of the soul. So our level of understanding, or our vibration of understanding, comes up higher. And some of us decide to stay at that level. And then there are people that when they die, they don't go through the learning curve of what they've done. They go directly back into another human body, right? And so those people kind of make big mistakes. Like they're so obvious, and you're going, why did you do that? You know this was going to happen over here. And so
I had a couple lifetimes like that.
So you go, what are you thinking? But they do. They because they don't want to go into that curve.
I don't think those lifetimes last long, though. I think I don't know. For me, my experience, my memory is that those were shorter when I didn't go through the process and just went from one life to another. It's like,
it's because then when you do sit to see how you've treated everybody, your life lesson, that's a lot of information coming in to learn. Like it's like one thing right after another, and those who can't take it that well, they go to rest, they go to sleep, or they kind of set back. But there are all of us will view our life, but with the support of our
I'm trying
guide.
to view it all the time, so I'll make sure I'm not making any more mistakes this time around. I don't know. That's what I try to. I keep constantly trying to be conscientious and reflective. Not that I was, that I'm the best, but as I was growing up, I kept doing that and doing that and doing that. And because sometimes, oh my God, I forgot to say thank you. Sometimes it happens a lot, but I'm thinking of it all this. I don't know what I chose to do in this life because I've had so much trauma, but I keep trying to make sure I'm paying attention. If I'm hurting anyone, because I don't want to hurt anyone, and I want things to be better, but I also don't want people doing things to me like we were talking about. But I'm trying to be as conscientious about it as much as possible because I don't want to be causing anyone else issues.
And I think it's a show of appreciation. You could be at a counter having your groceries, all rung up by this person. They're preventing you from doing that. Not preventing, they're doing it for you, which I appreciate. Yeah. Like how many times have we all said, oh, we got this long line and we're waiting for this person. Now they've created these places where you can go and check yourself out. And how many people are complaining about that, right? I want a human. I want to deal with human, but you didn't want it there. Right. So appreciate the things that you have.
Not what you don't have. That's what I always tell my kids. Appreciate what you've got, not what you don't have.
Yeah. And it brings into a balance of life of how you want to be treated. So, I don't have an expectation of people treating me any other way than what they feel like it, but I don't have to stay there to accept it either. I can just say, that's interesting. Can you hold that thought and walk away? You know, I mean,
That's not a.
that's just, you know, like, oh, it was interesting. I'm going over here. You know, I don't have to be in that thing. But we were taught how to stand and pay attention to people talking that way. And I'm like, we don't,
Or
our
we were taught
energy.
respect. And so when someone's speaking, I was always like, you listen to when you're spoken to. But that doesn't mean you have to accept everything that they're saying. You can
Right.
still be respectful and say, okay, thank you very much for that analogy. Or whatever. As you said, moving on. But
Yeah.
I was always
like
taught.
that's interesting.
You.
That's interesting. I got a phone call.
Well,
I hear my mommy calling me.
It's something that you don't have to put up with the negativity of
Right.
somebody. Like I was in a car with somebody this past week, and they went right into their voice, ended up going into this. You know, there are others in the car with me, very vocal, very, you know, loud, and then blah 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 blah. And I turned around and I said to him, I said, look, I said, you know, I don't know why you have to get like that. I said, but all he's making is a statement. You don't have to get that upset about it. Oh, you know, and he gets into this whole, you know, trying to explain himself. And I'm saying, you don't have to explain it to me because I'm not really interested. I don't want to hear two people arguing like that when I can't leave.
Right.
So I said, just, you know, like my thing is like, just wait till you get out of the car.
I was kind of a bad girl, though. I was trying to pay a bill for one of the telephone companies, and it was like half an hour, and I just told her, go, I am sorry, I am so extremely frustrated. I don't mean to take this out of you, but I'm really, really upset right now. You have no idea. I felt bad, but it was like I had to tell somebody how upset I was, you know. And I'm like, I'm really not angry with you.
Yeah.
I'm just really upset and frustrated that I just want to pay my bill, and it should not take half an hour. So I felt really awful, but I'm like, I was at least apologizing as the whole thing I was saying. No.
Yeah.
But I don't like those feelings, like, 'cause it brought up negativeness, and I didn't want to go through them. But I'm like, but I also didn't want to get my phone shut off. So I'm like,
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's important. I think it's important because in your realm, you've sat in that to be accepted. That's what she's saying. To be accepted, and the hibernation part is the repair part. Now you're a performer, not because of guitar and all this other stuff, but you're a performer when you're in front of people. But you recharge when you're in isolation, and you like your isolation because nobody's here to interrupt that serenity that you have. And she's explaining that your discomfort with staying home and going out at the same time is because you know your job here is to spread your gentleness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. And
so you were supposed to go out? Is that what that means?
No, so it's always been like that. Like, even if I go out playing darts with my best friend, I'd be like doing healings on people, you know, in the bars. Guys, I could read guys. I could tell them their whole life story. I'd sit next to them like, oh, do you want to hear about your life? And they're like, what? And I'm like, okay, so and it would just pour right out of me. I can read men. Women, I can't read so well.
Well, and it's interesting because you get so ramped up in the energy that's flowing through the room that to release that, to pop it, you have it's like binging on that, you know. It's like and so there's nothing wrong with that. That's a release of energy, you know. But for you, it goes, oh no, anybody wants me. Yeah, the only reason why people want me around is because they want me to do healing on them, you know. And
I had no clue you did that.
She said,
to let you know.
Don't worry about it. She goes, those who need it will come. Okay. And she goes, business is going to start flipping around for you. And I don't know if you're doing a different healing mechanism or you're going to open your practice up to do something else other than that.
I'm not doing a lot of healing. I don't do healings for money right now. I'm designing kitchens and selling kitchens.
So how's that balance going?
I actually really now that I'm gonna give it about 4 more years of designing designing kitchens, and
So,
it'll give me a good solid. I'm hoping a good solid 401k, and then my retirement, and everything. And but I mean, I'm always gonna be working on people. I just,
so there's the balance. So
Yeah.
When you're feeling not balanced.
Yes, I do.
Recently.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that this part of it can be a weekend thing for you to kind of do group kind of stuff. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You're okay on a one-on-one, but you prefer group
as a like meditation and
or
stuff.
group that you're holding it and in control of it. You like control, right?
I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know if it's control. I think it's more of a leadership. I think
leadership is a good term.
I don't know about the control. I don't feel comfortable controlling other people, but
control was the wrong term.
Right.
That I used.
Leadership. I picked
Leadership.
up as that you want to lead them into a prayer or into a healing
Yes.
session. You want to guide them and lead them is what I'm picking up.
No.
Share the wealth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You were just doing it last night.
I know.
So that's what I'm saying.
I was.
Yeah. And you don't even know it. And that's what I meant. It's like, because you want
I'm just sharing my truth.
That's
I'm not going against what
part,
she's saying, but she's telling me that this is going to be a common theme.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
yeah.
Your desire, it's not
leadership lady.
But it's
I've been
more
trying
desire.
it my whole life. I was like, no, I'm not going to be a teacher. No, I'm not going to be a teacher.
So they were preparing her back then.
Yeah.
My dad was a teacher. My husband was a teacher. My mom, she could have been a teacher. She was amazing. But
she passed?
Sima, yeah. She passed in 2000.
What's her first name?
Sima.
Oh, Sima.
Yeah. She's I thought for
she's the woman with the short hair.
The short hair?
Down to here? Oh, I guess mine's short then. Who's the dark haired?
You may have to give it a little more.
This woman over here. I don't know who she is. She's behind your grandmother, by the way, which means she's like popping in.
Is she blood or?
Who's Sheila Cheryl? Is it yours?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I wasn't focused on it.
Well, no.
Oh, you don't have to.
No.
They just come.
Brown short hair. Is it?
It's a dark hair. It's almost like a black feeling to me.
Yeah.
Now, what I see right now is like a black and white. So like a light colored hair would be almost like white for me.
Okay.
The darker colors are more like the brunettes and the browns and things like that. But it's black and white, like if you took a black and white picture.
Well, do you have any kind of characteristics or feeling about them? Like
she just popped out from behind her. That's all she did.
Well,
I'm telling you, like when they come in and they don't come in. And
is it Pat?
She's shorter, like I'm 5'8". She's probably 5'6", 5'7".
Okay. Is it Shelly's mom?
Who's Shelly?
Shelly's my friend Shelly out in California.
And she's going into the J?
A J?
All right. Well, we'll bypass that. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Could be for somebody coming in later today.
I'm here. What about me?
Well, that's what they do.
It just feels like when you said that, she's going.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. You never know who's going to stop in and do whatever. But continue on your energy work if you can.
Yeah.
It's not all about self-learning.
Okay.
It's all about you spreading your
tentacles.
I guess I love this statement that I haven't fully embraced yet, which is, there's time for learning, and then there's a time for stop learning and doing. Yeah. I don't know the exact wording of that, but it's along that.
I know friends that will say, I just want to take classes. I don't want to do anything with it. And
Mhm.
I say, that's pretty interesting. I mean, that's interesting that
Is
they're
that interesting
growing.
one?
Yeah. Yeah. Ah, interesting. Hold that thought. No, I go, oh, that's interesting because I always think that uh, sometimes when people come to me and they say, I need to learn all I can about it, I can't teach you your gift. I can open up the avenue where you're going to learn the best for yourself, that you're going to understand how you receive things and how much you're willing to not prove. I'm not going to prove to you that I can be a reader.
Mhm.
I'm just going to be a reader.
Mhm.
I'm not going to prove to you I can work with energy. I'm working in energy.
That's kind of how I feel. I feel like for me, I do like to share the teachings I think that are important to me, that make me a better person. But I don't want to have to prove it to anybody. You know, it's like if the time arises and I feel like, well, energetically, this is not where I'm feeling comfortable, I'm going to try to raise that vibration and just bless it. That's my thing. Just bless them. Yes, they may have said some things about you. Yes, just bless them because they need a blessing. And when you bless it, it disintegrates your angst about it.
All
And
right,
that's
sending a blessing on.
Well, be grateful for
Be
everything
grateful.
that comes before
Yeah.
you. And
To me, it's a lesson. I always think of it as a lesson.
It is.
It is.
And so I have to,
Everything
that's why I
is.
say I have to try and examine what am I doing? I mean, and I might not be doing anything wrong, but
it's not
still
that.
want to make sure
It's not even about doing anything wrong. It's like, for me,
well, people go to there that I must be doing something wrong.
Right.
If they're treating. That's what I mean.
What I feel is everything you attract into your life, you are attracting it for a lesson. And
That's
when
what I was
you
just saying,
when
yeah.
you realize that person doing whatever that happened, how it's affecting you, instead of going, oh, I'm going to be really mad at them because they did that to me. No, you
I didn't
thank
angry at
them.
anything.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just saying you thank them
Yeah.
for the opportunity to learn a lesson, to be able to bless them, because you actually attracted them in your life anyway to do what they just did.
But it also could be the other side. It also could be the other side of the coin, that I am the lesson for her.
Exactly.
Even because
Yeah.
I didn't do anything wrong,
Right.
in my opinion, and I didn't act out of anger. I didn't do anything like that.
We know that.
And so, no, the point is,
No.
I might be the lesson for them,
Yes.
and that's how I was looking at it. It's like, so it's like, I just don't want it happening anymore. To me, that's all. It's okay. Got that, done that. Let's move on from there. Just keep moving forward.
That's like saying this is my last lifetime. It's going to happen.
That's what I'm wondering if it is.
No.
I go through so many traumas.
I don't know. I mean, people say, "Oh, you're an old soul. This is going to be like your last life." I'm like, I don't want it to be my last lifetime. How about that? Like when people say, "I don't ever want to come back here again," I'm like, oh my goodness, you're going to come back until you stop saying that.
I don't know. I've never even thought of it that way at all.
It's like, just like you said, though, just be grateful for where you are. That's
just, if you're with a group of individuals and there are some there that you're not kind of meshing with, but you're enjoying, then why not stay there a minute longer? Why?
Yeah.
And nobody has to be in the location for any particular reason other than, what am I getting out of it, but what am I observing out of this whole thing? And, I figure in life in general, whatever I put in the ground is going to grow. So
you gotta give it water and light.
Whatever's going to go in there is going to grow, and if it's not growing, then it's my inattentiveness of what's not growing, even if I have a need for that. So why am I uncomfortable about making sure that's growing? Why have I stopped the growth of that?
You like my music? Like I broke a guitar string, and I'm like, okay, I need good new guitar strings. I know I can get them. I can order them online. I could do all these different things to fix my guitar. Why haven't I done that? You know, why haven't I played the piano? Oh, it needs to be tuned a little bit. You know, so there's this whole thing. What is all? Why have I pulled back from that?
Yeah.
Why? But my grandma is telling me I should record it, and I'm going to. So I'm going to listen. I'm going to just do it for Lauren.
Just do it.
I never thought of it that way.
But just do it like if you're sitting there and you're playing, and it can be what they call uncut, right?
Yeah.
And so you're playing, you're recording it, and then it's done. Like 5 minutes later, it's done.
Yeah.
Or and that's the greatest gift that you can give. Not
Right.
I just think that people, for me, I think there's a lot of worry about things that are coming up, or who said what, or what's been done. And I said, sit in your rest, peaceful moment, and not have to go and say, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing. You don't have to prove anything to me. I don't want anything from anybody. I just want to exist
So I
and be.
coming to hang out with
If there's a conversation that strikes up, well, there's a bonus, right? If it happens to be, it happens to be. There's nothing that I require from people that I don't already have. I may say, oh, I think I need to, grow my knowing of my intuitiveness. But then I look at it and I go, but I'm not willing to put the effort into it. Like I could do it, but that's up to me. Nobody's gonna teach me how to do that. Just me. Right. So life in general is a perfect place to be right now, with a lot of discord and a lot of uppity. And you look at how many people pay attention to that uppity and that discord, and you look at it and you say, wow, what are you not paying attention to? So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of individuals who would prefer to look over the fence and throw rocks onto the other side of the fence. And you go, what did you get out of that? Well, we're fighting for the rights of this. Well, can you not do it differently and gather people together and talk about, in a constructive way instead of like throwing the rocks? Can we do that?
Well, it's like you got to walk in a mile in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
It changes your perspective. And I think that's why the reflection back in your life when you cross over is because you won't learn unless you see from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of, a diamond has all kinds of processes.
Right.
And we all have part of our journey is what our past experiences that we've gathered up to this point. Like she could have then come to the determination it means this. No, this is my experience. It's this. So how can you bridge that? Say, oh, well, what are the common denominators that this one has and I have that we can now say, whoa, no, well, we believe it's this. Then you come along and it's changes all over. So I kind of look at that. I'm like, I mean, we're all like a diamond. And that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's when they say you have different parts of you all over. Your soul it's all over the place, really. And that's how I think of it, as a diamond. And at one point need to put them all back together to be whole. But now it's at different places learning different things. And that's our journey. That's how I look at it.
A journey is a very interesting journey. This time frame is very interesting. And those who are a part of this time frame has chosen specifically to be in this time frame.
Like, what's wrong with me? Why did I do this?
We've worked our way up to this point.
And it's a very specific. So what is our role here? If we're doing specifics, what are our roles here?
I don't know. I've had a blank. I don't even dream that. I can barely remember any dreams. I seriously, I feel like something is blocking me. Keep saying, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. It's really, I mean, I literally for years don't really dream. Maybe once in a great while I'll have something pop in, but it's blank. So,
so you must be doing some very deep healing and deep faraway journeys.
I've had some mini traumas that we've talked
about. But I mean, your journey has not been, an easy one, but it's been an easy one for you, because each journey that you've taken, you've come out and said, okay, I'm going to break the soul contract on that one. And you've done it. And so then the next one comes up, which is similar to the one you just left, you know. And so they become
I quit
so
tweaking and on me. I've done that. Stop.
yeah, it's been so recognizable for you that you're going, okay, so this is all hat. I'm not going to throw in that earthly or those emotions into that. I'm just going to deal with it and move on. And so that's what you've been doing for this lifetime. And so now you're like, well, life seems to be getting pretty good. And then you have expectations of people. And now you're learning that you can't have expectations of people, because there is no reason to have an expectation of somebody to be with you or to talk to you or to, you know, I don't know, just hang out with you, right? So my thing to you is like, you've already gotten rid of all that other stuff in the past, and now your next group of lessons are what it is that you're
coming
doing.
in.
Yeah. And so
But I still wonder what
graduated.
I still wonder what this blankness is. I seriously think that there's something there that's holding me back. Saying, not now, not now.
Well, because you've got this group of lessons that you're kind of, or the group of things, situations are going to be occurring one right after another. And we talk about the woman at that, you know, where you worked, and we talk about friends, and we talk about all of this with all the same in common. We talked about that before, but that's that part of it. So in the past, the reason you were remembering your dreams was because it was helped the healing process of those situations that you were in. So that's why they were so clear.
No, I mean this whole lifetime that on this time, I can tell you probably about probably 20 dreams I've had or less.
But those dreams,
I don't really dream.
but
It's
those
weird.
dreams were significant to help you with that
And
process.
I can control my dream. If I, which, because I used to be so scared when I was a kid that I learned how to control it.
Yeah.
So I go back into the dreams of, nah, not this time. You're not doing that.
But
And I
see,
control it
but that's the
to
thing.
make it through the.
Is that is helping you through the process of that time frame. Not necessary right now. Because it's what you're now in the sitting in the bleachers watching it happen, going, do I really need to get fired up about this? No. Do I really need to get fired about that woman? No. I don't need that. I don't need to get fired up. I need people in my life that are coming in and just kind of, they're just kind of riding the wave.
I want loving, caring, respectful people in my life. And that's because I'm done with all the negative stuff. I've slowly been taking them out of my life, and I just want to surround myself with good people. Then you always know that they're there for you. You know what I mean? So I'm just done. I'm done trying to teach people. You know what? You need to learn on yourself. You want my advice? I'll give it to you, but I'm not going to force my views on you. Because I'm looking from different eyes, so I can't really. I say this is what I did in a similar situation. You do what you want to do.
I think it's really important to feel like you just to have loving kindness and compassion for and where a person is. If they're an infant in their diapers, you don't judge them for shitting their diaper. You gotta change it. But you don't judge them. And sometimes I think adults are just, grown babies. And you just have to realize, you know what, they're just a little baby. I'm not going to judge them. I'm going to let them be where they are. And when they get to another place,
you're ready.
They got some growing to do. I'm not going to teach them though, because I'm like, they're in kindergarten, and I'm not in kindergarten anymore. I'm at least in high school.
And it's interesting, like when I do readings, the readings are very monotone sound for me, or they're very monotone in the information that comes. There's no inflection of male or female or religion or gender or anything like that. They just come through as energy. And I find it very like that. And so when I talk, I'm like that. And so when I hear like the male perspective of things, it's that. When I hear the female things, it's like this. And I'm like, I don't know if I can handle that ups and downs of like the drama, not drama, but that concern that they have. They're like, oh no, did you know that this happened to this and this and this?
Right.
And I say, it doesn't matter who cuts the apple as long as it get cut, right? And they go, but this one didn't cut it evenly. And I'm like, you can't get into that.
I know.
Like,
See, and I'm more direct too. That's
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
think we get along. Because I'm just like,
I
Yeah.
love that though.
it's
That is
very,
such a
it's
beautiful thing.
very, I mean, it's so overwhelming in that throw out of energy. And I don't know about you, but when people express themselves, it's more here. I mean, it sends it out, and I go, oh, I'm not going to go there. And then you have this, then you have this secondary, where it's a verbalization of it. So you're really kind of getting it twice, however it is, I think you're a non-confrontational person, and I think that you don't like it. You would rather have somebody else stand there, and then you'd stand around going, yeah, what she said, kind of a thing. and then you try to smooth over the edges, going, this is what she meant by that, and
yes,
and
yes.
so
Diplomat.
yeah, but that's your role.
Mhm.
That's your role in the group, any groups that you have, and you find it difficult because sometimes some of these groups that you hang out with, or some of the people that you hang out, don't require that, and they don't realize that they need it.
Right.
Right. So you're trying to find your niche in the group.
Yeah. I was just thinking about this situation where I'm like, oh, I'm just here to like kind of be a little healer, and Allison went up, I don't need any healing. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not healing you then. Just a situation.
Yeah. I mean, everybody needs healing, right? Everybody needs healing.
Yeah.
well, that's her going, oh, no.
She's perfect the way she is. And then, I mean, just back to that. Yes, I do not judge you. And healing happens anyway. You attract people. If we're attracted to each other and we're hugging on each other and say, this is my new sister, we're healing each other.
Yeah.
Whether you believe it or not.
But you do it anyway, because when clients come into my office, they come in a very tightness, or the energy is tight for me. So when they come in, they're tight. They're like, where do I sit? I said, sit wherever you'd like to sit, or just wherever you want to be. They sit down, and within 5 minutes, they're like, they're either got their shoes off, curled up on the couch, or whatever it is. But it takes them that kind of a, breaking the concept of what is the proper thing to do, to this is what I want to do. And I think it's great. I think it's great. And you're right. That starts the healing process of what they're receiving in their world, what they need. And they don't know. Some people don't understand. Like, you go, oh, you're just, you really need a lot of healing energy. And they're like, oh, it's that thing, huh? Or you're going to do that woo-woo stuff, and I'm like, I'm not doing woo-woo. It's what you're receiving from who's here.
Oh, you mean like a spirit could be actually sending,
like her grandmother, her bio, or Irene.
Mm-hmm.
Irene, she keeps repeating because she wants me to get it right, but I'm always, anyway. She's moved right here, by the way. I'm like,
she's like, hey, let's do that.
It's like those movies when you Donna, and then she's right here. I like that.
Somebody's right here.
Yes.
Who's here? Is that her too?
What do you feel? I'm interested in what you feel here.
I don't know. I was just feeling my dad, Jerry. Yeah, I've had a couple lifetimes with him. And so you said Jay earlier, and so that's where I was thinking it was. Yeah, I think.
So maybe it was a male behind her?
No.
So I'm female, but my energy is male or masculine. I can jump into a burning building without thinking about it. I can, do whatever. I'm not this like damsel in distress feeling to me. I'm a touchy-feely person, but up to a point. I'm a nurturer, but not to the extremes, to the feminine energy.
I gotcha. I'm similar.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm more masculine, so my energy will come across as more masculine. But for a male to come through with a feminine energy means that they're very caring, loving, very close individual. And this person that came over. Because did he have dark hair, by the way? Okay,
Yeah,
Short.
okay. Because he
Well,
kept
very
going. I
short,
kept doing
yeah.
this, and
I
so-
know. I was like, I don't know. I mean,
So-
if it was Jerry or not.
Okay, just say something when you
I know.
because then they go, oh, she doesn't want to talk to me.
Oh,
So then they just sit there and then they
Ah.
listen to whatever goes on. But she's,
Daddy.
but anyway, so Irene's here, and I don't remember why we were talking. So things come in and out of my head quickly.
She was right there, and she was talking
Yeah.
that there's a
I just felt somebody there, and you said who,
And
and
then
I'm
we
like, I think it's my
conclude
dad.
maybe it's
I think it was
Jerry.
Jerry.
Well, but yeah, well, there were other things she wanted to talk about, but things come and go in my head quickly. So I apologize for that. I'm
I
asking her to
distracted you.
do a repetitive thing, but she moves on to the next subjects. But she's very quick on that. She's very, she wishes that you were a part of your mother's life,
Me too.
healing part of your mother's life.
Yeah.
Um,
My mom has passed.
is he's, it's she, who's
Well-
the cancer?
Hmm?
Who's the cancer? Who's
Well-
the smoker?
My mom was a smoker.
Okay, heavy smoker, right?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, okay, so we're going over here. So they're combined together, if I'm gonna say that.
Sim and
So they're-
Jerry.
So they're combined
Yeah,
together.
Yeah.
He's a more stronger than she is for me.
Mm.
She's more like, not flighty, but like out there.
Yeah.
Okay. She's not
That's
flighty.
similar.
She's just out there.
Yeah,
She just
yeah.
can talk about anything under the sun, but she doesn't stay focused on a lot.
She's not emotional.
Right.
Yeah.
She's just like out there. So anyway, but he's more of a,
intellectual.
not so much that, but he makes his presence known, and then he goes, well, where do you want to go from here? He doesn't want to be the one that guides everything along. But he's in agreement to some of the things we talked about. He's in agreement. He wishes that you were part of his world, but it gives me the sense that his decision was not a part of the reason why you were not part of his family. He gives me that sense. Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh, is this my biological dad?
Bio dad.
Oh, okay. Yes, Alan. That would be Alan.
That would be Alan.
Yeah. Alan is what legal.
Was there somebody? Was there a jail or somebody in trouble with the law aspect of it, or was somebody because they're going anyway?
My brother was
Okay.
in and out of the jail.
And so, is he past or
No,
present?
he's alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about the jail and the legal aspect of things.
Oh, so this must be Jerry and some of my adoptive parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're also discussing the fact that they, again, if you're responsible for something, you should be held accountable for.
Like that was
like-
my first lesson, number one. Responsibility.
Okay.
So
Like
I'm surprised he's not
he's-
showing you keys.
he's very like this, and
Yes,
this, and this.
He was.
And he talks about the redirection of you a lot of the times because your mind you had to be redirected to come over here or read, and that kind of thing. But he's not sorry you were in his life. He gives me the sense of like, I understand that I might have not been 100% for you, but he said I'm to myself was child. So I'm not sure what he means by that, but
I
that's
know.
what he's okay. So he, very grateful that you're a part of his world, but his conception of what his role was kind of, we'll leave it up to somebody else. It was always left to somebody else. His goal, in a way, was like needed to be noticed in a way, or have people take a look at him and say, "Oh, that's so and so over here." But there seems to be I don't know, like kind of a like he thinks he's this way, but he's really this way, kind of. The way he thinks he is different than the way he really is.
Yeah, he was a teacher, major teacher, like.
He had a different way of thinking of himself. Is that okay? So he, I don't think that there's anything wrong with him. I just think that his perception of self was a little bit on the different side. But sometimes he talks about you two going, head to head.
Oh yeah.
But like he's going like this, not like this, but like this. And
Right.
he said he wasn't good as a mediator.
He tried.
Okay. Yeah, he wasn't good, and he understands that. He said, I understood. I now understand you had to be who you are.
Mhm.
And that he said, I never known how, I never knew what it was like to be not wanted.
Mm.
And he said, and that's where I kind of lost
Mm.
the connection with you.
Mm.
So he loves you dearly, you know, loves you dearly, wants to do the best,
Mm.
but he's so, I don't know. If I was his daughter, I'd be looking up going, I don't know, like, I don't find that closeness with him. I don't know how to connect with him. I don't know how to make him as an equal to me. Or I know he's a parent and you're the child, but there seems to be an energy.
It's definitely the conversations with Lee like, Dad, I'm not going to be the person you think I'm going to be. You know, basically.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am who I am, and just accept me for who I am, and don't worry about me. You know, but he'd always worry.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got married that I felt like he was calm, that he was okay. He took a sigh of really, okay, I did something right. You know, that type of thing. Okay, my daughter's married. I have a grandchild coming. I did something right. I think he felt like he needed that in his life. It's very simple, very simple.
He's just recognizing his role, what he could have been better, and what he recognizes as. But he's very, I think your adopted mom was very respectful of that. And kind of balance that out, the two of them out.
They did. They were totally like the Simon and Jerry balancing act for sure. Yeah. They loved each other so much.
Yeah.
They were amazing.
Yeah.
They were great parents. But
is he the heart? Is he heart?
Yeah, he had a heart. Yeah.
He's giving me a heart attack.
Yeah, he had a heart thing, and after that, then he got Alzheimer's.
The valve.
Really
he
bad.
goes the valve.
Yeah, four valves or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like.
Yeah, he's going to valve. Anyway.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, this is great. I think this is very cool. This is an agreement.
Oh, you do? Okay.
1:15.
Oh, well.
I'll go back up fast. Well, we do want to apologize for the mishap in the beginning. We can't hear the sound when it's recording. So then I have to actually click it over to a different speaker. And so I couldn't hear it. So that's why I did it out in the hallway. Going, oh, it was actually recording the whole time, and we didn't know it because I have to swap it over. But I wasn't.
We must have sounded really good.
I'm hoping anyway. I didn't hear a whole lot, but I don't know if that was the older one or the new one we're doing right now. So hopefully everything recorded. Yeah. And I like to apologize. I don't know if we'll have to edit anything out, but.
Do we need to edit?
I don't know. I don't know what I sounded like. Right. So hopefully everything came out all right, and. I'd like to thank you and thank you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Thank
you
you for coming in.
And maybe we can have another discussion some other time too. And if anyone has any comments, and let them know how to get a hold of you if you.
I'm Jennifer Laflin. My office is located at 7 Oak Hill Terrace. My website is Jennifer Laflin, and the last name is Laflin. So it's jenniferlaflin.com. So you can book me on that if you'd like. But yeah, it's.
And I don't know if you do any healing sessions, and if you want anyone to get a hold of you. I don't know. So I don't want to push it.
I'm selling kitchens right now, and I do a little side hustle. Pranic healing.
Yeah.
So if anyone has any comments and any topics that you want us to cover or would like to join our show at any point, drop us a comment, give us a like. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
have a great day. God bless.
Yes, God bless you. Thank you.